So recently EA dropped a reveal of new FC27 game and gameplay deep dive for it. And the takes about it are all over the place on the internet, so I thought I would contribute by sharing my opinion. Generally, I think FC27 is going to be basically like a gameplay mod dressed up as a new yearly release. In their videos, EA used a lot of fancy words which aim to appeal to both online and offline crowds. And you know, for fun, I actually asked AI to craft script for such gameplay deep dive video, given that the company wants to sell the same game for both competitive players and simulation enthusiasts. Funnily enough, I think it did pretty much the same buzz-filled trailer as EA did. So yeah, much of what we heard in their videos is just nerfs and buffs dressed up in fancy words in typical corporate bullshit style. They literally talked about the same shit in this year's videos as they did 10 years ago. I mean, just take a look at this clip of FIFA 17 gameplay trailer.
Be strong on the ball. Make intelligent runs. Be ruthless in front of goal. And own every moment.
And FC27 gameplay deep dive talked about the exact same new quote-unquote features. You know, the difference is that FIFA 17 was actually a significant milestone in development and direction change of the series. Whether you loved or hated the game, you have to admit that FIFA 17 was significantly different than FIFA 16. And FC27, well, it honestly sounds like a patch. It feels like we are going to play now FC24, just version 4.0 disguised as FC27. Because the reality is that the underlying systems are still the same core problems in both the engine and the design philosophy of the developers are still there. The game still works on hypermotion and frostbite, so the animations will look just as unrealistic as they have been looking since FIFA 22 and 23. The game looks still twitchy from the videos that they showed us, and players do shit that is humanly impossible to do. Like, seriously, you cannot watch action in FC games and predict what a player will do based on how footballers would act in real life. They will just pull a twitch out of their ass and make a pass that is never going to happen in real football match. And you know, something else is also very clear to me in the gameplay deep dive video for FC27. In their marketing materials, they keep talking about simulation this, simulation that. They mention a lot authenticity and realism whenever possible. But when you actually look behind the changes they do, when you look behind those fancy words that they are using, it's basically super clear that most of these changes are focused on Ultimate Team. And that makes sense because that mode prints money for them, right? So we have a clear case of dissonance in what they say they want to achieve with the game and what they actually do. Some folks rave about the upcoming nerfs to AI on defense. And I personally hate this direction that they've been taking for years now. I mean, I get it, it probably makes the game more difficult to master so you can express your gaming skills. But it also makes the game feel less like real football. Because the reality is that football is not one-on-one sport. It's team effort on both attack and defense. And ever since FIFA 20 we have this bullshit of 1v1 defending, where defenders who are not covering the ball actively are basically useless. In 2020s, the game basically became 1v1 duels simulator. It stopped treating football like a team sport where the entire squad defends. At the same time, real football teams became actually in more life more and more sophisticated in how they are defending with their strategies, creating even bigger gap and contrast between how the sport is portrayed in a video game and how it actually looks in real life. And I think that this defending issue is just the clearest example of the dissonance that I am talking about. You either make the game more skill-based for competitive crowd by nerfing AI like they plan to do in FC27, or you make the game more realistic and simulation-oriented by making the computer AI complement actions of the player, applying strategy and fundamental football behaviors to the action in the game. Because the reality is this, you can't have both, you just simply cannot. And it should be obvious by now. Yet, for those who make these decisions, it apparently isn't. And speaking of having more control, I've recently bought the GameSir G7 Pro, and it's really damn good controller. It feels premium, very responsive, and it has 4 extra buttons that you can freely remap, which is especially useful in some of the sports games with some weird control layouts. So if you're looking to upgrade your gamepad, I've left a link in the video description. But back to gameplay deep dive, despite that, overarching feeling of dissonance at EA's team, I do like a couple of changes mentioned during the video. First are the changes to runs to make them more creative. I generally think that it can be quite cool addition to the game that may result in more interesting action on the pitch. But of course it depends on the implementation and how well balanced it will be against defending. Then the set pieces changes sound also quite interesting. Corners, free kicks and so on have been feeling the same for so many years now that it's quite good that they will shake it up a little bit. But I do worry about how it's going to play out, as knowing EA, we may end up with broken strategies for set pieces, but hey, only time will tell. Also, shooting is one of the most boring parts of vanilla gameplay experience in FC26 without any gameplay mod, so I would be very happy to see them being a little bit more exciting and cool in FC27. But all in all, I really feel super underwhelmed by that gameplay deep dive. I was hoping to see some significant changes to animations, as they are, in my opinion, the core underlying problem for FC games. But unfortunately, it seems that EA is just happy to put minimal effort and release essentially a gameplay mod as a fully priced new game. And I miss times of competition in sports games where new yearly releases had to be a significant upgrade to just keep up with the market, where companies took risks and pushed the genre forward. Now the whole genre is just stale and it sucks for us players. Anyway, we will have to wait and see what the final product delivers, but as currently is, I am not excited for FC27. It will probably be better than previous game, just not by a long mile. And how about you folks? How do you feel about changes to the gameplay for FC27? Are you excited or as underwhelmed as I am? Let me know in the comments. And as always, big thanks to members of my channel. If you want to become that group of cool people, check the join button below the video and see available options and perks you will get. Anyway, that's all from me in this video. Thanks for your time and I'll see you in the next one.